Hello everyone and welcome to this Kickstarter update for Divinity Original Sin, the board game. Today is an incredibly exciting day, it's a very important day, and I really wanted to share it with you. So I've taken out the camera, I've taken out the gear, everything's set up, and it's not in my office, it's in the kitchen, because I want to use the dining room table to show you our new digital press copy. This digital press copy is incredible. It's really going to show you what the game is going to feel like when you open it up for the first time. It's exciting to finally feel a lot of the components that, you know, we've been using, say, digital samples for testing, but nothing is like getting it from the actual manufacturer to how they imagine it's going to be. Because it's a digital press proof, the whole purpose of this is for the manufacturers to make a game and give us a sense of what they think the game is going to be. So I will be honest with you, there are some issues here, but that's expected. It's literally a part of the process right now. So as we go through this, I'll point out some of those issues for you, just in case you have any concerns with something that doesn't feel right. And believe me, I have one or two concerns too. We're going to get those addressed. It's all part of the process, and nothing that I'm going to show you today is actually going to delay the game that we expect. So all is well. Let's go and dive straight into the unboxing. All right, so this is it. As you can see, first and foremost, it's a beautifully glossed finish with a lovely UV varnish on the logo. We've got that UV logo varnish on every single side. That is our current box. You'll notice that I'm moving this around quite easily. That is because it is empty. Why is it empty, you might ask? Well, it's actually very, very simple. This box is the box size that we thought it was going to be. But as we've been packing the game and as we've reordered things and better positioned it and actually better laid it out in general, this is now ever so slightly too small. So the artwork that we submitted to our manufacturers is just a little bit too big. So they made this just so we can see it. So this is actually going to be a tiny bit smaller. I think it's basically about 8 millimeters smaller on one side. So I'm going to lift this off and we're going to show you this white box here. Now this white box, the only thing that's missing from it is, as I said, the artwork outside. Everything else is pretty much as you'd expect as you open the box. So we're going to do that right now. First thing we're going to see is our lovely stop page. Essentially, do not proceed until you get these components out, because this is how you're going to play the tutorial. You want to make sure that your first player experience is incredibly easy to get set up and get started. Alright, we're going to have our rule book. You guys have already seen a PDF of this, but this is it now printed out. Although there is going to be a new PDF for that rule book that you're going to see over the coming days, because we've made a few tweaks to it. There's our sideboard. I'm going to have to make sure that the light doesn't gleam off it too hard. But what's really nice about the sideboard here is you're going to see that there's these lovely ridges which are designed for your timer token to sit in. And then if I flip it over here, you're going to see that we have our merchant side, our interlude side. All right, this is we're coming to two of the things that are going to be, this is where they'll be when you actually open up the game, but we're coming to one of those let's say things that we need to fix. These are your player reference cards, which I think you guys have seen artwork for already. But as you can see by the way I'm flipping it about, they're a little bit light. They're first of all on a much lighter stock than we thought they were going to be, and they're also currently on uncoated paper. So we're going to do our best, well, we're not do our best, we're going to actually get this replaced to be a thicker card. It's going to be 300 GSM, which basically means it's going to come scored for you guys, and then you'll manually fold it, and it'll be a nice thick protected coated card that will be usable and isn't going to get damaged by multiple uses, because this card in particular is going to be in players' hands a lot. We want to make sure it's ready for the amount of use it'll take and not get damaged or round cornered or just, So we'll take these reference cards away, and let's take on the other small element that definitely needs to get replaced. This is our journal envelope. It's a small little envelope that essentially you're going to be putting your journal cards in. However, as you can see again, it's a little bit flimsy. It's more like an actual envelope designed to be teared. We're going to completely change that. It's going to be changed from paper to card. Once again, not on an uncoated stock, but a protected stock. And one of the other things to do for ease of use is we're going to actually shift it, so it's going to be a landscape envelope that'll open this way, so it'll be easier to slide the cards in and out as opposed to having to try and squeeze them in and out like this. Because yeah, again, this is one of those game elements that you guys will be holding a lot and using a lot, taking cards in and out. We want to make sure it survives the test of time and it's a high quality product at the end of the day. All right. First big element is our Divine Atlas. So I'm going to move the game out of the way for a second, and we're going to open this bad boy up. Divine Atlas is looking really, really great. Honestly, really pleased with how it's turned out. One of the things that we've been using in our testing is obviously a different wire bound, because digital presses, again, you're doing something very quick. This is a proper wire bound, as you can see, which will actually help survive at the test of time. But this isn't actually good enough for us. So right now it's a black plastic. Our manufacturer has already put in an order for metal ones. So these will be a black metal when you guys get it. So it'll, again, be even tougher and will survive even longer for you guys for having multiple play sessions. The other thing you might notice with the light that's coming into the room today is that there's a little sheen off it. That's because there's a matte lamination on it, which essentially is a lamination that doesn't shine too much, so the light doesn't bounce off it too hard. But what's important about the lamination is that it's scratch proof. Essentially, because you're going to be putting minis on this, plastic minis and plastic standees for your minions, we want to make sure that the artwork and the book itself is well protected and ready for use with the miniatures that you're going to be throwing on there. So that's our Divine Atlas. Oh, I forgot, actually, there's one really important note. You'll see that there's a lovely ribbon here. This ribbon is obviously designed for you to be able to mark where you were, because where you are in your Divine Atlas is pretty much one of the main ways you're going to be able to save where you were. So it's like, oh yeah, we were at the drawbridge, so let's come back to the drawbridge next game and we'll know where we're starting today. However, as you can see, it's kind of just stuck on here. It's not really got a place or a purpose at the moment, so we want to fix that. We're going to put it on the inside here. We're going to essentially attach it correctly here, and that way it won't feel like it's just kind of tacked on the back, which is you know, I mean, it's still purposeful, but it's not doing what it should be doing. It's not as clean as it could look. So we're going to get that fixed as well. We'll go back to the box for a second. You're going to see that we have a lovely plastic tray here with a lid that's designed to hold a couple of pieces here. First, you're going to see your layers of punch board. I've already punched a few bits out, which I'll show you shortly. But you've got your 2 layers of punch board. And this is all the punch boards you're going to need to start your game when you're doing the tutorial. There's another layer of punch board, but you won't need to go near that until you're ready to play the full game. The second thing you're going to see is also our boss book. So everything, again, designed to not get jostled around. I'll quickly show that, but it's very similar to our location book and the Divine Atlas. You're going to see our bosses each with their own individual rules. Once again, it'll be a metal wire bound instead of a plastic one. Also, this one is a little bit too tall right now. Remember I was showing you in the box how it lays out and how it's designed. Basically, it's too tall, which means the stuff on top is going to damage it. So we're going to get a slightly shorter one just to basically, again, make sure it protects as you pack it away. Yeah, that's our boss book. Coming back to our box, a couple of things you're going to notice. First of all, is there's no minis in this set. That's because our minis are currently being injection molded, so they are going to be tested very soon for injection mold, which is part of the process. They'll check for any leaks in the proper molds. All right, so you'll have all your minis here, all 10 origins plus the black cat. Once you've punched out your health dials, you'll be able to place them in here. That's what this is for. We have a bunch of the plastic spindles for all your health dials, which I've just described there. There's 1, but you're going to have 4 for players, and then 7 for your minions and bosses. Alright, most exciting thing, at least for me when I first opened this box, it was so exciting to finally get a handle on the dice. Because I'll be honest, when we first ordered these, I was a bit nervous that, you know, they wouldn't be 100% right, and we would have to go back and forth and get them fixed or whatever. But honestly, they feel great in hand. They're lovely round corners on them. I'll come in close, see if we can actually see that a little bit. Lovely round corners. The etching is nice and deep. It's well painted, so they are really coming out very nicely. And honestly, for all our testing, we've been using these like oversized, easy to play test with and put stickers on dice. And I forgot what it's like to hold 5 dice in my hand to roll once. I've been having to cut my hands to have all the dice in them. So these are a fantastic addition, really exciting and lovely to roll around the table as well. Alright, so we'll put the dice away. Next up is, let's see, we've got some baggies here which you'll need for your various bits and pieces. We have our standees, because for our minion punch board, for our minion tokens basically to know where they are, we'll need standees for those. So we have our standees. Okay, now we have our 4 player boards. Once more, they are laminated for protection, but they also have the dual layered. So when I get a talent like this, I can slot it in, and it's not going to go anywhere. And the same works for the cards, the equipment, and there is a print error, as you can see here. There should actually be labels for the various bits of equipment, and our manufacturer knows that, so they're going to fix the file when they do the next test. I'm going to keep the player board out for a second because the other components that we see here are our AP tokens. So if I take an AP token out, you'll see, really importantly again, if I have 4 AP, I jostle the table around, it's going to hold in place, which is really, really nice with the dual layered. It's one of the benefits of dual layered. So that's our player boards. Take those out, put them to the side. Now our boss board, same deal, dual layered, so you can put the deck of cards here, you can put its cooldown cards here, and then once again, its AP token is not going to go anywhere once you've placed it in there. And we have our minion trays. So all of our minion trays fit in this, as you can see, in the well, and they come like this, where you'll have your dual layered again. You'll have a place for the card, a place for the actual status cards. You'll punch the dials, the health dials, and you're going to place them in these little receptacles, and then they're going to look like this. So you're going to be able to address the health of your various minion like that, and you'll have it in place like this. So once these are all made up, they actually zigzag. Oh, I've already done it wrong. They go this way. They zigzag, and you're not going to be able to see it here, but there's like small little extra ridges in the plastic here to account for these. So basically, you'll place one in like that, then you'll place one in like this, and they'll zigzag, so they actually stack up nicely. There's extra room in the space because as soon as we put in these dials, they will actually take a little bit more space. So all of that is accounted for. It's the right height for that, and yeah, that's looking really well so far. This is our wells for our status cards. This will be where their permanent home is once you've played the game. You'll be putting them back in here. All of our status cards are there. Now, this is also a very important well. As you can see, everything here is pretty much the bare bones of what you need to play, including the tutorial deck, which I've already taken out of its plastic. Put that there. And the tutorial poker card deck. So every single one of these is a ready-made character for you to play. So there's Sabille. There's, have I skipped Ifan? Yeah, there's Ifan. There's Losa. And there's Fane. So everything that you have here is the tutorial deck. You won't need to get any other cards from the back of the box. And these are all extras. So you'll notice underneath, you might not be able to see it very clearly in the camera, but they all have unique UIDs, which basically says tutorial card 1, tutorial card 2, etc., etc. And so when you dig into the back of the box, this Losa is a duplicate. You'll actually have an extra Losa, so if at any stage you want to keep these here or you want to put them away, for ease of use, we didn't want you to be like, oh, should these go in the main game or not? They're all bonus extras, you can use them or not, but basically this makes it very easy for you to open the game and play the tutorial. Likewise, our tutorial cards for our for the tutorial locations, all of the cards you need to play here, you'll see these white boxes. This is all just tutorial text specifically for the tutorial. Most location cards won't have these. Yeah. And once that tutorial is complete, we open up the second part of the box. Now, first things first is we have our Hall of Echoes box. The Hall of Echoes box is, as you can see, not exactly fit to purpose just yet. It's getting a bit of scuff marks, a bit of damage, and also, quite frankly, it's a bit awkward to place in here and then put it away. So we are looking for solutions with our manufacturer to basically make sure this box is more protected and also easier to access when it's time to access. But you can see very clearly it says stop, do not open until you're told to, because if I open the box, you're going to see it has the epilogues, which are for the end of the game. I won't really tease it, but you can see there's various endings, and then you've got the various Hall of Echoes books for each of the origin characters. And we haven't, we've discussed the Origin characters a little bit, but basically as you're playing with your Origin character and you go to the Hall of Echoes, you'll have some moments which play out like a choose your path or pick your path adventure, which is a small miniature personal experience that we're really excited for you guys to try and play. Okay, second half of the box. You'll see here again, much like the Hall of Echoes, will tell you to stop. Do not come in here until you try the tutorial, because once you remove this, you're going to get all the extra punch that you need. So there's all the extra talents in the game, your boss tokens, your various coins for money. You've got your extra health dial for the boss tray, and then also you've got extra source and stuff like that. So this is everything you're going to need for the rest of the game. These are all the cards you're going to need for the rest of the game. This lid is not the easiest to get in and out, so we're going to essentially get some solutions for that. Mostly we're probably going to get some thumb holes for it, and we're actually going to try and make it an easy way for you to lift this tray out should you wish. Rather than having it in the box, you can take it out onto your table if you want. So we're working with our manufacturer to basically create lips to make it easy to lift in and out of the box. Most importantly, when we take all these cards out, and there's a lot of cards in this game, and try and stack them without having any of them fall. Here is all the cards in our game, and that's just the poker cards, not the tarot-sized cards or anything else like that. Put these to the side. Now, first and foremost, you're going to see is we have all of our tarot-sized cards, and they are broken down into acts. So we have, I believe, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. We then also have a bunch of different wells for your cards. Every single one of those has been sized specifically for the cards that you have in the game, but also for the expansions. So if you have the expansions, they are going to fit in here as well. But you're going to notice that right now you wouldn't know which wells to put them in, and we're very aware of that. So in the final production copy, the plastic is actually going to say here, hey, this is where you put all your skills, this is where you put all the items, this is where you put the minions. And once that you do it once, like so if I put all of the items in here for a second, once you've done that once, you won't need to worry about it again, which is why we're putting it on the back, because every single set of cards has its own dividers. And those dividers will actually sit in here and be easily able to be accessed, and you'll be able to kind of grab the cards that you want very, very easily. And we've broken them down into skill types, we've broken them into item types, including the item level types. So overall they should be very, very easy to access. We also have our runes, small extra deck of cards that you won't need until you actually dive into the game proper, rather than the tutorial. But essentially these are the runes that you'll be unlocking as you explore the game. Finally, we have our two baggies for your dice and for your various components. Lovely little embroider on them. Divinity Original Sin, the board game. So those are looking really well. They feel good. One thing of note is our various dividers are the exact height as the width of a tarot card. And the reason for that is very simple. We've designed the box so that when you close the box, the plastic on the box goes tight up against the tarot-sized cards and the dividers. So once everything is in place the way it should be, nothing will jostle around further than these teeth, and the lid itself is going to hold everything in place. So that about covers it for the unboxing video of the digital proof. As you can see, there's a few bits and pieces that we still need to fix and we still need to tweak, and that's totally normal and totally expected, and we're already working with our manufacturer to get that done. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We're going to be doing more updates soon. We're going to be talking further in detail about the expansions, and also we're going to be talking about the dungeon mode, which I'm very, very excited to be explaining, because honestly, it's completely changed the game in terms of your experience of it. If you've played the campaign a couple of times, you dive into dungeon mode, it's going to just rejuvenate your energy for the game, which is honestly incredibly exciting to see that mode really come to life. But other than that, everything is moving really, really well. If you have any more questions, absolutely drop them in the comments below. And in the meantime, we'll try and keep you updated as much as we can. There's a lot of stuff happening at the moment, but a lot of it is happening on the manufacturing side, numbers, order, details, etc., etc. So as soon as we have something exciting to share, we'll absolutely be updating you. And we'll, like I said, we'll be giving you that update on the expansions very, very soon. Thank you and goodbye.